Hi, so I am a minimalist and I'm also an artist. And I don't like to have a lot of things, but I like to be creative. I think that this is a very common idea around minimalism is okay, if I want to be a minimalist, how do I balance my hobbies? So I wanted to share what my hobbies look like as a minimalist, and I'm going to do that by pulling out all of the things that I consider hobby. I'm going to lay them out on my bed here and show you what that looks like. So let me do that now. Well, I think what would you call it? The first challenge was figuring out what is considered hobby. And I'll flip this and show you what we're working with. I decided to pull out anything that would be a pastime. So I feel like I have a lot now. So maybe I should go through this and refine it a little bit. But let me go through each thing and talk about how I use it and why it's valuable to me. The first thing is this projector, and it will show you this whole drawer. Don't be alarmed. I know the whole thing is filled with movies. So that may be a bit controversial for a minimalist to have, but I've decided that I love watching movies. And one of my biggest hobbies right now is going to thrift stores and finding cheap DVDs that people have donated. Surprisingly, they aren't scratched. They all play well. I clean them when I get them, like the cases, and it's my collectibles now. And I don't hold on to each movie forever. I don't get very attached to them, but I also I collect them. But if there's ones here or there that I'm just completely sick of, or, as I also develop my relationship with Christ, some movies are just, I don't feel comfortable watching them anymore. There's just something in me that doesn't want to watch them. I'll get rid of them. But that's my collection. And I also have the projector with that. And that's just one hobby that I really enjoy. I guess I don't know if I'd call this a hobby, but it's my Bible. I guess I wouldn't call that a hobby. That's more of something, it's a pastime in my opinion. I also have two games. I have the big Boggle, because I love Boggle, and the matching game that I was just gifted for my birthday. And those two favorite games. So I definitely want to keep those. I find very valuable. And whenever I'm with people, I want to bring those games out and play with them. It's really fun. I also have these juggling balls. Juggling balls may not seem minimalist. However, I was gifted juggling balls years ago when I was in high school, and I was practicing them for a while and got out of it and donated them. Years later, I really wanted to juggle again. And I felt like, oh, if I hadn't gotten rid of them, I would juggle right now. And I came across another set of juggling balls at the thrift store and absolutely bought them because it was something that I found valuable from my past. And so I purchased them again, and I am adding them to my hobbies. This is something that I valued and felt like, as somebody who enjoyed performing, whenever I did drama club and when I was in choir, I wanted to have this in my life again. And I really enjoy them, so I'm going to keep them. My biggest hobbies right now, my most common that I do, I journal and I make cards. I'm going to move this over here. This is all of my painting supplies, which I'll get into in a second. But my most common favorite hobbies right now, making cards and journaling. So to do that, I have my printer where I print little pictures, either to put in cards or in my journal, mostly to put in cards if I'm gifting something to somebody. This was my latest pen pal from my sister, so I'm keeping that for a little bit and enjoying it. I buy blank cards like this that I can do whatever I want with them, and anytime there is a occasion where I can give a birthday card, a congratulations, a thank you, I use this as a creative outlet, and I also think it's beneficial to the person receiving it to have something crafted homemade. And I find this a great way to have a hobby as a minimalist because I'm doing something I love. It's affecting somebody else, which I find it more purposeful than just doing it for myself, but I'm also giving it away, so I'm not holding on to it. This has been my favorite thing to do lately. And so I have my blank cards, tape, and this box is filled with supplies, and let me lay it out a little bit for you. So to lay it out a little bit, I have little pieces of like scrapbook paper, other photos I've printed out in the past, some stickers, little things that I can play with to put in the cards. I have hot glue, regular glue. For some reason, I have these eyeballs. And I do have a sewing kit in here also, just to patch up little holes in my clothes. But I kept it in here. Some stickers, some stamps, and I have a couple more blank cards from the last pack that I bought. I also had a pack of the, you know, to use for my printer, whatever you want to call that. And that's what is in that box. So again, the fact that I can fit it all in this bin, which fits great in one of my drawers, I love it. And I love being able to pull this all out to do cards or to journal, and it's simple and easy. I also have this bag that is full of markers, scissors, colored pencils, and some Sharpies and a pen or two. So I have that container and then this bag. And my favorite thing about this bag is, again, I only keep things, I go through my hobby supplies and I pull out like scrapbook papers that I'm not using, that I don't like, that every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I don't want to use that. I just throw it out. It's fine. Maybe there's a color that you don't really like to use ever. Don't hold on to it. And it's really easy if I'm going to go somewhere and I want to bring my journal, but I also want to have my markers and everything, to have them all in this bag makes it really simple. So that is my card and journal supplies, and it's my favorite thing to do lately. And the last thing I have, which I may want to go through, are my painting supplies because I have not painted in a long time. I will do watercolors the most for my cards. So I love to have watercolor paint. As a minimalist, I find that I can do a lot with it. I can get creative with it, and it's not overwhelming because I can just pull out this one pack. And I have two of my favorite brushes, this being one of them. And I can bring out my supplies and go do it. So it's really easy. But I also have things for this and this, things for FX makeup. So in my paint, also face paint. So I would use my glue to like glue down my eyebrows and then put face paint on top. I've done that for Halloween costumes, fake blood, scar wax, the powder. But also have some oil paints, some gesso. It's things that I like to get into every once in a while, watercolor more often. But I do find them valuable to me as an artist, and I gave up some paints in the past that I wasn't using, and these are things that I do find valuable still, so I'm keeping them. And I also have canvases to be able to play with it. And these are canvases that, this is something that I've painted in the past really quick that I don't really like, but I'm holding on to it and may want to touch it up later. This is a painting that I've done in the past of Jesus that I really love, and I would like to do something with it. Sketch pads. This holds old things that I've done. this is another old sketch pad, but coloring book. And these two things are more like drawing and coloring supplies. And these are sheets to lay down for when I paint. So it may look like a lot, but these are things that I've been able to dwindle down over time. So may or may not agree with the fact that I'm a minimalist after seeing all of that, because it is a bit overwhelming for me to see all of that. I always thought I did pretty good at not having a lot, but that does seem like a lot. However, it's all things that I find valuable and I've refined over time. So whenever I do pull out those hobbies, it doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel like I have too much. And I'm able to be creative and let go without being overwhelmed. That's sort of, I guess, why I think that they are minimalist hobbies. But they are still creative, and I still, I guess, do need a bit of supplies to be able to work with it. I also thought it would be fun to share this because whenever I find minimalists on YouTube, I find that often there are hobbies depicted that don't require as many things. And I also love watching movies, and mostly when someone's a minimalist, they'll do the streaming services, no DVD player, but that's something that I value because it's so fun, and it's always been a part of my family to sit down and watch movies together. It's communal. I also like to do things like working out, backpacking. I do have backpacking gear. But I think this is a pretty accurate depiction of the hobby things I have. And yeah, I guess I just wanted to share that because minimalism can look different for everybody, but it's more about the mindset that you have around your things. So if you want to have a relationship with things that is healthy and you don't want to have a lot of things, you can still do hobbies that require stuff, but you can refine the things so that it's still not overwhelming and it's still manageable. Because I think that's a lot what minimalism is about, at least for myself. Anyways, thank you for letting me share, and I hope that it was fun. It was fun for me. So thanks. Okay, bye.